Okay, hello there. I'm Dennis. Welcome to my channel, Life Home and My Linux Journeys. And today I'm coming to you from the Hewlett-Packard Z240. I finally made up my mind what operating system I was going to use on it, and I had been using Fedora for a little over 2 years on it, so I decided to go with something else. And I like independent releases or operating systems, and so that put two, OpenSuse and Void Linux, up for grabs. But I've already run those, and so I was interested in something new, and I run across that. Let's go to my desktop, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So this is Solus OS 4.7 Endurance, and it's on the HP Z240. These are the web pages for, and I'll make sure these links get in the notes below. This is where your journey will begin for Solus, and I got to say it's pretty intriguing. There's some things in here that are very nice, really. And I chose to use the Xfce4 desktop. If you go to downloads here, you'll see that they have a Budgie, which is their flagship, GNOME, and Plasma, and Solus Xfce4, but it's the beta version. And I've been running it. We'll see here in a minute just how long I have been actually running it on this machine. There's a few things missing from the Xfce goodies package that are not available yet, but I think they will be soon. Here's a link for the basic package management in Solus, which you'll want to look at. I'll make sure the link gets in below. Here's a wiki for the Solus operating system. It was previously known as Evolve OS, which is where the EOS PKG package manager comes in. And that's what they use, EOPKG. Here's an excellent article from the Freedom Penguin on Solus. And I got that from right here on Distro Watch. If you look up Solus, you'll find that they're 20 in their rankings list. But right here was one of the reviews I read, which is this one here. And it's really, really nice. It's very detailed, tells you a lot about it. And I was wondering what happened to Solus OS, because I thought it was Solus OS. And I guess it was at one time, but things happen. But I'll make sure this link gets here if you want to look at this AI overview. All right, so there's Solus web pages. Let me just close out of those. Now they do have their own curated package manager, the Software Center, and I couldn't find it, and I was going to present it, but I couldn't find. I read where they recommended these different desktops might try other software GUIs, such as Discover Store or GNOME software. So I couldn't find it, so I can't prove it, but I'm pretty sure that they actually recommend you use another package software manager. But this one works just fine. It's got all the categories, office categories. You can actually check for updates here. Third-party repositories, or not repositories, but softwares. You can do a search, and you got a few settings here that you can change. So I've been using it. It works just fine. Let's see. Let's look at my menu. We got Thunar, which is by default what comes in. GNOME Disk, OBS Studio, Kdenlive, Audacity, Krita, Simple Screen Recorder, Voco Screen, VirtualBox, System Monitor, gufw. And what you don't see is I have boxes and Virt Manager installed as well. And all this works just fine. I mean, I haven't really had much of a problem with Solus at all. So let me bring up a terminal. Stretch this out. Let's maybe bring up another terminal. And run my TD script. And this is Solus Endurance 4.7. It's UEFI boot. It's using X11. Now, there is an experimental Wayland in Xfce. When you log in, you can select it. But when I selected it, all I got was a blank screen, and I had to hard boot or hard power off and reboot. So I actually installed this on February the 1st. Today is February the 26th. So I've been using it for most of the month. I did change their swappiness. It's going to be set by default to 100. You might want to change that. I'll run a Xfce audio and graphics. You'll see this is an NVIDIA card. We're using the X11 server with Xfce4 support, and it is running Pipewire. Let's see over here. I can get a hold of that. Let's run a screen patch. Again, 4.7 endurance. All right. We'll bring up my notes here. Try to keep this video short because you could go on and on and on about new stuff that you learn here. Here's those links, and I'll make sure they get in below. This is the stuff I copied off of those links I just showed you right here from the wiki. Solus is actually considered a curated rolling release. Now it says here updates become available every Friday, but in my experience so far, I get an update every other day easy. Small updates be it, but I do get an update. You're not going to find a firewall installed by default, and an antivirus, which clamtk and clamav is not available, and lynis is not available. Hardinfo is not available. They use the EOPKG for their package manager, full name Evolve OS package. Uses PISI, which stands for packages installed successfully as intended. I love that. One thing as an Xfce user that I'm not able to get at this point is a netload plugin. Okay, now let me run up LSBLK, and also I'll swap on -s, and we'll see that I only have two partitions, one being the EFI boot partition and the rest of it going the remainder one to the root drive. No swap space. It's using ZRAM, and I've turned the ZRAM up. I adjusted or made the ZRAM 8 gigs. So if you bring up, say for instance, System Monitor, and you're looking here at swap, it's going to show you 8.6 gigabytes of the ZRAM. And so I'll make sure this link directive gets in below so you can change it yourself if you choose. I think it had me at like 32 gigs right off the bat, so I had to change that. I did adjust my swappiness, and I'll make sure this again gets in the description below. It's going to be set to 100. I changed it to 10. OpenSSH is not installed by default, at least not on the Xfce version. It may be on Budgie. I do have VirtualBox, and I do have those set up. Xfce Budgie, as well as the Budgie desktop. And I do have Budgie actually installed on another machine just to look at it. Here's an interesting here's an interesting command that you can get all the packages that are installed on your system. It would be EOPKG space LI greater than, and then whatever you want to name it here. In my case, I've named it Solus installed packages. And if I open that up, you'll see that's all the packages that are installed here. I need to redo that because I've added some since then. FS trim timer is enabled by default. So if you get running on an SSD, you don't have to worry about it. Okay, and so far that's about all I got in my notes. At Solus, it does seem to run really fine. Like I said, I've had really not many hiccups. Do that again. There we go. With OBS running, just closing Firefox out. Notes, we're only using 1.16 gigabytes of RAM. So very nice. Very nice indeed. Let's see. Oh, something else I wanted to make sure I highlighted. So there are going to be a few programs, software that you may not be able to get. For me, it was just some simple stuff, like, for instance, that netload plugin. And I'm aware I could get a widget do the same thing. I just happen to like the netload plugin, the Xfce one. Hardinfo, that would have been a nice, that's not a mandatory software to have, but it would have been nice to have that. And clamav and lynis security, that would have been nice. And I can still get those here very shortly. And I'm really pleased that I've made this choice. Now let's just see. Let's go back to my main screen. So I'm really pleased that I've made this choice. And at least so far I am. I'll let you know in a couple of years, or I mean, who knows? It might break tomorrow, but I don't think so. I'm really excited about using it because it is independent. It's not based on anything, Ubuntu, Slackware, Debian, none of those. And I really like it. Let's find out how long it lasts. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace out. I'll catch you on another video. Bye.